if that's you right now, and you're at that point, it's like, well, if I don't want to do this, what needs to happen? You can't just keep repeating the same motion. You have to change, and you're the one that's in charge of that change. Oh, it's starting to breeze a little bit. I hope it doesn't come down, but let's cut to the chase. You're here for one reason and one reason only. And whatever you think that reason might be, I'm here to tell you what that reason is. And that reason is guidance. I'm 24. I just graduated my master's degree um, last month, so I've had quite an experience in my early adulthood life. And I feel like the main inspiration of why I make content and why I want to just publish videos is because I wish there was somebody there for me along the ride that I could have watched or at least gotten some insight from before making certain decisions in my life, right? Um, which I mean, regardless, like we're here because of decisions that we make, which brings me to my first point. How do you decide what you want to do and who you want to be? First of all, you need some type of discipline. What is discipline? Discipline is basically doing the things that you don't want to do. You need responsibility, taking care of things without basically anybody telling you to. You need pride. You need to be able to have a sense of pride in the things that you do in order to feel more fulfilled, if that makes sense. So, as an example, recently I feel like, we always see the wins, especially nowadays with social media. Its biggest misconception that you could probably really imagine every day. It's really just getting worse and worse. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Like, compare social media now to what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. 15 years ago, you could, like, bro, we were posting to be honest, rate, date, and like the dumbest things on the internet, but it was the most wholesome and almost cringiest thing ever, but it was like so organic. Nowadays, it's full-time job and it's just a highlight reel. Like I think about the difference of posts and like what people portray their lives to be. And like that's what social media is for. Social media is literally judging a book by its cover because you never ever ever know what's going on behind the scenes because that's just not you. It's not your personal life. Like you've seen the rise and fall of so many people throughout the years when you think everything's okay and it really isn't. So I think step number one is really like realizing the truth that even though social media and media in general portrays it to be sunshine and rainbows, that it just isn't. Like simple as that. And it brings me to my other point is that you only see the wins, you don't see the losses. Like success, everybody has a different definition of success. So that word is up for interpretation. Like for me, success is like having fulfillment in the things that I do, feeling happy, but without being complacent. So always chasing something greater than myself, right? That's what I define success. Like success can be money, it could be fame, it could be having a family. Like that's up for interpretation for you. So the main thing, the number one thing to realize and decide is what does success look like for you? So for me, I was always I like school. I like to study. So I went to college and I got an education and I mean that was technically it. And now I'm out of college and I'm like, damn, what now? Like that's the thing, like you just get a job. Simple as that, right? Like that just doesn't seem That's not my definition of success. Therefore, I'm doing other things in my personal life too that will fulfill me and help me feel like I'm successful. So, sitting in here in front of the camera, it's pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie, and it's hard to even keep eye contact with it, but I'm trying. So, I think that's brings me to my next point is that you have to try. Everything's trial and error, and it's never ever ever linear. Like I might be preaching to the choir, or it's because I've heard these things before, but I think that's another thing that people don't realize is like we say things for a reason, and that's because they're true. So, for example, like all these people that you see on social media, successful people that might not even have social media, people who you consider successful, whether it be a family member, a friend, or a significant other, um, they have, they've fought their own battles and they've had their ups and downs. So that's just one thing that you have to accept and that you have to embrace, which when you embrace it, it makes it feel so much better because it's part of the journey. Like if things were to just go straight up all the time, you wouldn't feel anything. Like I would say last year, like financially, at one point, at one point mentally, um, I was at my lowest, like 100%. Um, but I wasn't like depressed or I wasn't like sad particularly. But when I compare it to other instances in my life, I was like, I could objectively say that that was more of a low point. So when you hit those low points, you have two choices. You can feed into that and kind of just keep knocking yourself down, or you can do something about it and try to help, right? Try to get back up. And that's the beautiful thing about it is that when you have a low, all the highs feel so much higher, right? So when you embrace that and you accept it, it makes things so much better because you know that you're going to be okay. Like regardless of whatever happens, whether you lost a loved one, whether you lost your significant other in a relationship, whether you lost money, whether you got in a car accident, whatever the case may be, you can recognize and identify that that is a low and that things can really only get better. So, um, that's I think that's just like one point that I kind of wanted to make and kind of just emphasize because that's what it's all about. So, what do we do about that? You have you have to change. You have the ability to change. I'll give you a prime example, right? As soon as I went to university. I was like 19 or so. The freedom, like, of finally moving out. And if anybody, like, whoever's watching this, whatever age it might be, you know what this is like. Especially when you live with your friends, you live with roommates. It's just a brand new experience, a whole new world that you have to be careful because nobody, like, nobody tells you. You just have all this freedom, and it's like, okay, hands off, you do what you want, and be smart. And I think that's where a lot of us get sidetracked is losing focus of what's really important and what we're chasing. So my example being, being presented all that freedom, like we would party, bro, party all the time, like drink, drugs might have been involved, not all the time, but every so often. And, people are like these are touchy subjects sometimes because people don't want to expose themselves or be vulnerable or perceived as vulnerable because that's sometimes looked at as a weakness. But when you when you are vulnerable, you're able to just accept that those things happen. Like it's just a part of life. You live and you learn, and regardless of the experience, it's your choice to learn or to keep on making the same mistake. So I guess kind of to piggyback off that, it's like I think college is a prime example, right? Like I have many friends who went to college, who didn't go to college, who dropped out, who had like families or whatever the case may be. But then I think about it, like you see all these, you see college graduates, and like yeah, like they, you graduate college, like sometimes. I mean, I guess it depends on the degree or whatever, but that's a win. You see the celebration, you see the people graduating, you see the senior pictures, you see all this good stuff, but you never know about the people who didn't make it. And there's so many that don't make it, that drop out, that get lost, get like, just can't handle it. Like people don't go to class, people fail, or people realize that that's just not what they want to do. So at that point, what do you do? If if that's if that's you right now, and you're at that point, it's like, well, if I don't want to do this, what needs to happen? You can't just keep repeating the same motion. You have to change, and you're the one that's in charge of that change. So, I guess my point being is that you're in charge. You you have the power, and as the great saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink the water. So you can have all the resources available, all the money, all the whatever, but if you're not willing to do anything about it, and it's useless. It's like having knowledge, right? It's like I go to school, or people go to school and get a job or whatever, and like you have all this knowledge, but what are you going to do with it? Are you going to contribute to society, or are you just going to waste it? Because what good is a library? What good is a book if you read it and you don't share the information? Then I mean, it's pointless, right? I mean, obviously, unless you use it for personal use, but that's besides the point. My point being is that whatever you do, you have to make the most out of it, regardless um, of what it is, because I feel like you will feel more fulfilled at that point. So, let's talk fitness. You see these guns? These puppies? I didn't get them overnight. I had to make a choice. I remember, like, everybody starts at a different point. Like, whether you're athletic, whether you played sports, whether, even your genetic makeup has a really big influence on who you are, obviously. And I think that's actually kind of where I want to start is like, think think about the things that you can change. And I know you hear this all the time. It's like, take, uh, only worry about things that are in your control, or don't worry about things that you can't control, but that's not my point. My point being is your genetic makeup. How bizarre and really amazing, excuse me, is the fact that we're here because our parents had intercourse. Simple as that, bro. And just like every other organism in this world, it's the same reason: reproduction. Why? Like, it's insane. Like, sometimes I can't wrap my head around it, because it's like the chances of us being here at this moment right now are so slim, and it's taken for granted, for sure. So once you realize that you were given your specific body and you can't change your genetic makeup, what do you do with that information? You have the power to change everything around that. So let's not get it twisted. We can't change who we are genetically, but we can change who we are as a person, mentally, psychologically, physically, besides the fact of our genetics. So whether you're blessed or you have below average, average, above average genetics, it really doesn't matter because you're the one in charge at the end of the day. It's your body, and you have to accept the fact that you are who you are. So, like, I remember as a kid, bro, I always wanted straight hair. I mean, honestly, mostly because of Messi. Like, to be completely honest with you, I wanted to have Messi's hair, bro. Especially when he was a jit. Like, when he was in his 20s, bro. That flow, I was like, bro, that has to be me. And then I tried, like, I didn't even know what to do, bro. Like, I wanted to buzz my head off and hope that my hair would grow back straight. Like, I want to straighten my hair, like, get, like, a treatment. And I was like, eventually I realized that, and this is when I'm a kid, eventually when I'm a teenager, I realize that there's really nothing I can do about it unless I really do want to. Entonces, con una cámara. Entonces, si usted tiene un consejo para cualquier persona, ¿qué sería?
Bueno, ahí depende
El consejo de la vida.
el consejo y lo que lo esté jodiendo. Entonces uno ya se mete, por ejemplo, al fumador. Que ya